You're watching ABC7 News at 7.
One by one, each of us on the record told the superintendent that we were moving past it.
We need to hold our board leadership to a higher standard.
Drama at the Manatee County School Board, members butting heads, a parking lot incident caught on video, votes for a new chair and vice chair. What is going on? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC 7 at 7. We'll have more on the Manatee School Board in a moment, but first, our top 7 stories at 7. From the thrill of victory to the unemployment line, only 4 months after winning the Class 7A state championship, Venice High School is firing its head football coach. John Peacocks was fired because he liked a social media post by a Venice High School football player aimed at Braden River High School coach Kurt Bradley, which included a spray tan bottle. Bradley is multiracial, and he took the tweet as being racially insensitive and complained to both the school district and to Peacock. The coach is out, but boosters are sticking with the program.
You know, I'm a 50-year-old guy. Social media, all these things, the way the kids communicate now. I mean, I observe it sometimes and I see it. I can't say I'm involved, and I'm certainly not an expert, and I don't know how it affects people.
We will have more on this story tomorrow night on ABC 7 at 7 at the Trapezoid. A Bradenton man is being charged with killing a 3-month-old baby. The 26-year-old is charged with aggravated manslaughter of a child. According to police, the child died back in December, but it took 4 months for the autopsy results to come back and show it was a homicide. The baby dying from head trauma. Police say the suspect is the mother's boyfriend.
After the mother called 911, we arrived to find her and the child, and unfortunately at that time the suspect actually fled because he had 3 warrants out of Lee County. He came in and spoke to our detectives the next day, and because based on their investigation they were able to charge him.
Police are not sure whether or not he was the father of the infant. The investigation continues. 4 Bradenton men are behind bars tonight for allegedly robbing homes yesterday in Sarasota. The first burglary was reported on Goldfinch Street. When approached, they fled in the car. Deputies followed the suspect's vehicle near the University Parkway exit on I-75. Another home burglary was reported on Caracara Street, which deputies also linked to the suspects. All 4 men were arrested for burglary. The driver, 18-year-old Ty Langston, is also being charged with fleeing. 20-year-olds Charles Jackson and Marcus Bradley, as well as 19-year-old Tyler Summerall, all remain in custody. The Sarasota lawyer representing 4 former Saints cheerleader is offering the NFL a settlement for the discrimination claims, $1 in exchange for 4 hours of Commissioner Roger Goodell's time. Sarah Blackwell says the meeting would be to discuss the history of alleged discrimination against cheerleaders in the NFL. Bailey Davis says she was fired in January after posting a picture on Instagram. The Saints considered it risque, which is a violation of policy. The team says it does not tolerate discrimination.
What we are here to do is to shine light on some issues and to change them. And not for Bailey and not for Kristen and my clients, because they're no longer cheerleaders. This will benefit the girls that are still there and the girls that are coming in and want to be professional cheerleaders.
Blackwell is asking the NFL to respond by May 4th. Nearly 60% of Generation Xers haven't calculated their retirement needs, while less than a quarter of baby boomers believe that they are financially prepared to retire, according to the Florida Office of Financial Regulation. The OFR is issuing a consumer alert to Floridians that focus on having a comprehensive retirement plan. The agency says saving money early on is important to those who continue their normal lifestyle into retirement, free from stress and money issues.
It's very important to start early. You don't want to be making that up in your 50s, but it is never too late to start.
Consumers can use the agency's website, www.flofr.com, to verify the information of any financial planning firm. Now let's head over to ABC7's Chief Meteorologist, Bob Harrigan, with the First Alert Forecast. Bob.
Thanks, Alan. A beautiful day today. It has been as a result of a large area of high pressure, but things are going to change a little bit. Area of low pressure now making its way through Kansas, Missouri, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. This will shift off to the east, and notice there's a little trailing cold front to it just all the way down into Texas. It's going to cause some bigger storms over the lower Mississippi Valley than us here, but we will still see some changes. We had a little bit of cloudiness earlier today, move on through, but generally we're expecting beautiful weather on Thursday. Here comes the front. Here comes the big storms, too, into Mississippi, Alabama, and into Georgia. But notice the storms start to head off to the northeast there and just leaving behind a little trail of some clouds, and those clouds will move in on Friday now. 72 degrees currently and mostly fair skies. It's comfortable out there with the humidity running low at 64%, winds out of the west-northwest at 12. Temperatures currently in the low 70s if you're right on the coast, mid to upper 70s inland. 82 now in Miami. That's the warmer reading, and 79 in Pensacola. Your evening planner looks perfect. Fair skies, 68 degrees by 11 o'clock tonight. No worries in our weather, at least through Thursday, and high pressure really dominating the weather now over the northeast Gulf of Mexico. That high will slip off to the east, allowing that front to move on down, and then the mild conditions continue despite the front, Alan, that moves through on Friday. There's not going to be a whole lot of cold air behind it. Just a pretty good weekend. And I know you need some rain for your lawn there. And
just fertilize,
yeah. You may get a little bit on Friday, but not a lot.
All right, thanks a lot. And still to come, we have heard about the chaos going on at the Sarasota School Board last week. This week, what the heck is going on at the Manatee County School Board? After the break, schools in session. Stick around.
WWSB ABC7 is an equal opportunity employer, and we're looking for qualified people to join our dynamic team. For a list of current openings and to apply online, visit www.mysuncoast.com/contact/employment. If you're a motivated team player and you want a rewarding career in a fun, fast-paced working environment, WWSB ABC7 could be the perfect fit for you. Check out our list of openings now.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 4 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today. Call 800-457-2317, go online, or visit a Target store today.
When you are home alone, an emergency can become a tragedy. However, with any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately, whether in the bathroom,
I've fallen in the shower,
at home,
help, I've fallen and I can't get up,
and on the go.
Help, I've fallen in the park and I can't get up.
Don't worry, help is on the way.
Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-518-0221. That's 1-800-518-0221. Call now, 1-800-518-0221. For a free brochure, call 1-800-518-0221.
Get breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC7 News app.
Last week, we reported on the backbiting and name-calling at the Sarasota School Board, but they have nothing on Manatee County, where one member accuses another of trying to run him over, and now an attempt to remove both the chair and vice chair. ABC7's Erica Jackson joins us with more. Erica.
Alan, thank you. There's only a few weeks left of school for students in Manatee County, but before that bell rings for the last time this school year, its 5-member school board will have to put their differences aside for 2 more meetings.
Given the fact that we've come off some pretty high highs and a few lows, I think that hopefully the next few board meetings rounding out the end of this academic year will be, let's just say, less eventful.
A heated dispute in a parking lot caught on camera, leading to a call to replace the Manatee County School Board's chair and vice chair. And when the vote failed to show up on the April 10th board meeting's agenda, the dispute got even hotter. So the question remains, can the members of the Manatee County School Board learn to put their differences aside for the sake of students' education?
This is about putting the position of power aside until that is settled.
The problem started minutes after the board's meeting on February 27th. That's when this altercation between the board's chair, Scott Hopes, and board member, Dave Miner, was caught on camera. The security footage shows Miner getting into his vehicle and backing out of a parking spot. Hopes claims he was almost hit by the car, then allegedly made a comment to police about having a gun in his car, just days after the deadly Parkland school shooting.
This is about, in a time of heightened awareness and fear, it was just the wrong time to reference a firearm on school board property.
Weeks after the incident, Hopes wants to be past the issue.
Setting aside board politics and personal ideologies and really focus on what the board is in place for.
We requested an interview with Miner about the altercation. He said he'd prefer not to talk about Hopes with the media.
We need to hold our board leadership to a higher standard.
Then at the school board's special meeting in March, board member Charlie Kennedy called for the re-election of both Hopes and the vice chair.
I'm not trying to remove anyone. This is just about the perception of this school board.
The motion passed by a 3-2 vote before being postponed until the board's April 10th meeting, but the item failed to appear on the regular meeting's original agenda.
It made me concerned. Concerned in the sense that if that can so easily be removed, even though the majority of the board voted in favor of it, what else could be removed without the board's knowledge?
Hope says Superintendent Diana Green creates the meeting's agenda and was under the impression board members agreed to leave the issue behind at a recent training session.
One by one, each of us on the record told the superintendent that we were moving past it.
Hopes argued the motion was illegal, but the school board's attorney claimed it was legal under Florida law. Miner made a motion to appeal Hopes' decision.
And we can go ahead and vote on this. And I'm going to vote yes.
Mr. Miner appealed the chair's decision. It was not seconded. Therefore, the motion dies.
As the board approaches the final days of the school year, Hope says the biggest problem between its 5 members is clear.
I think we're just going to continue to work on our communications.
Despite the ongoing drama, the Manatee County School Board already has a lot on its plate. It still needs to figure out how it's paying to put school resource officers in its elementary school for the rest of the upcoming school years, since it's now required under the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School Public Safety Act.
Erica, thank you. In a moment, a member of the Manatee School Board speaks out. Where, of course, at the Trapezoid.
Hi, I'm Holly Robinson Pete.
And I'm Rodney Pete. And after 16 years in the NFL, it came as no surprise that knee surgery might be in my future.
And when the doctor said Rodney needed to lose weight before surgery, we knew that Lipozene could help him lose 4 times more weight. It's America's #1 weight loss supplement.
I've already lost 30 pounds and 4 pant sizes. I didn't need a prescription or meal plan.
I've lost 10 pounds, I have more energy, more stamina.
We eat our favorite foods and still lose 4 times more weight.
I'm very impressed with Rodney's weight loss. His blood pressure and cholesterol have really improved. I recommend Lipozene because it's made from the rare konjac root, which contains glucomannan, a very safe and effective weight loss supplement.
Lipozene has no harmful side effects. No caffeine, no jitters, no counting calories.
No cleanses.
No starved diets.
No boot camps.
Nothing in your lifestyle needs to change. Just add Lipozene.
In a clinical study, people were not asked to change their lifestyle and simply add Lipozene. As a result, they lost not just twice the weight, not 3 times, but they lost 4 times more weight just by adding Lipozene. And 78% of that weight loss was fat, not water, but fat.
Rodney and I guarantee that you will lose weight or your money back.
Can we say that?
Yep, guaranteed, or your money back. So get Lipazine and lose 4 times more weight.
Now you can lose 4 times more weight. Just add Lipazine for only $29.95. Call right now and we'll double your order for free and ship it free too. And for a limited time, we'll double the size of each bottle for free. So now you have 4 times the Lipazine for just $29.95. Plus, you'll get Metabo Up Plus to help boost your energy and metabolism. But you must call. Call 800-379-2824, 800-379-2824, 800-379-2824.
I'll be right back. Hi! You think you're probably sober?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about taking the back roads home, just in case. If you're probably sober, then why would you do that? Good choice.
Probably okay isn't okay. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
That's a full glass of wine. I'll be chatting you later.
Welcome back. Last week we reported on the insults and backstabbing at the Sarasota School Board, but they have, at least they're not trying to run each other over with cars. You'll remember this video from a few weeks ago of school board member Dave Miner driving just a little bit too close to board chair Scott Hopes after a particularly contentious board meeting. More recently, school board member Charlie Kennedy attempted a revote on the chair and vice chair of the school board. The item mysteriously disappeared from a meeting agenda. All of this would be entertaining if not for the fact that the school board is doing some pretty big issues right now, like funding school resource officers in the aftermath of Parkland. And joining us for more are Manatee School Board member Charlie Kennedy and Ryan Kinnan, who covers the school board for the Herald Tribune. Gentlemen, thank you both. I'm wondering what the question is. Number one, whether it's what prompted you to call for a revote on the chair and the vice chair, or where or when did the friction begin on the school board?
I'll go back to the beginning. I think the friction began on the school board when Mr. Hopes joined the board.
You guys unanimously elected him chair.
We did, and let me be clear on that. And then the tension kind of accelerated when Mr. Hopes became chair, and there was just constant tension between the two of them, and then it culminated in the evening of the parking lot incident.
And you mean by Mr. Hopes and Dave Miner?
That, yes, the famous February parking lot.
Ryan, let's give our viewers a larger perspective. Number one, Scott Hopes was appointed by Governor Scott to fill a term. And that's question number one, if you could explain how that all came to be. And, how would you say that the board got along prior to that?
Right, so he was appointed by the governor when Karen Carpenter, a former board member, she resigned. So Scott Hopes came in, he was appointed in the summer, and then he first started in the fall. And prior to that, I would say the board got along really well. The board meetings were more sort of congenial, and there wasn't a lot of tension. That's not necessarily a knock against Hopes. That's just simply to say he came in and he wasn't afraid to ruffle feathers. I think there's some people who look at it and think this is great. He's coming in, he's asking hard questions, he's sort of pushing back against the status quo. But there's other folks who say he's coming in and he's talking down to people and he's cutting people off and he's kind of acting like he knows everything when he just got here. So that's kind of the two sides as I see it.
Charlie, is that your opinion as well?
I think that's an accurate assessment, yeah. That's an accurate assessment of both sides. To Dr. Hopes' credit, he does have a vast and varied work experience as a corporate executive, as a CEO.
Physician.
He has a lot, well, it's a PhD in information sciences, but he has a lot to offer the district, and as Ryan mentioned, but he was new to Manatee County and came in, I think, with a kind of a governor or a mandate from the governor, and wanted to kind of hit the ground running and get things done and be effective, and that I think rubbed some people the wrong way, including Mr. Miner, who is the elder statesman of our board. He's our longest serving board member, and I don't think this is unfair, but I think Dr. Hopes is still making that transition from corporate executive or CEO to board member, because now you're part of a team making decisions. You're not making the decisions by yourself. And I think it's fair to say, since these incidences took place and the subject of tonight's show has come up at 2 board meetings, he has begun to kind of change the way he operates.
And we're going to hear from Mr. Hopes in just a couple of minutes. But in terms of your own call for a revote on the chair and vice chair, sure, where did that come from?
That came from, essentially, that came from the comment about having a gun in his car.
All right, and let's remind our viewers, there was that incident involving the car out in the parking lot with Mr. Minor and Mr. Hopes, and there were some other comments by Mr. Hopes?
Well, what happened was, well, again, it kind of depends who you ask, but Mr. Hopes claims, or Dr. Hopes claimed that he said that about having a gun in his car, but it was made in the course of delivering a police or giving a police officer a report on the incident. And then a couple days later, he actually admitted that he didn't have a gun in his car. He had to kind of walk that back. I'm still not sure. I've never seen a police report from that night. So anyway, that's just part of the details that for me aren't really the crux of the problem. It was that in a moment, and I understand it was a stressful moment, but what was just under 2 weeks after Parkland, we had multiple fake threats to our schools, and just talking about a gun. And I made this point at when I originally brought this motion forward. If that were one of our students, or if that were one of our employees, that student would be going through probably expulsion proceedings. If it was an employee, they would be suspended.
And that prompted you to call for the vote.
Yeah.
Ryan, all this has been going on here. You have your finger on the pulse of the public who is sitting there and watching it all. What have people been saying?
I mean, I think it's interesting and it's entertaining for a lot of people. I think for a lot of folks, like the gun incident was sort of like confirmation bias. If you liked Hopes, then you thought Minor had lost his mind and was trying to kill him and run him down in the parking lot. If you liked Minor, you didn't get what this guy was talking about. And so people are reading about it and are talking about it and are interested in it. Unfortunately, it's not because they're interested in the serious, heavy matters of public education. It's because it's entertaining.
All right, we are just getting warmed up. Up next, the school board chair, Scott Hopes, right after we check the first alert weather, so stay with us.
I work hard all day, and this is why. But taking care of my money has never been easy. Brinks knows what's valuable to me, making it easy to keep track of my money and pay my bills on time.
Here's to the strong, to the dependable, to the trusted. Your family counts on you. Who can you count on? The Brinks Prepaid MasterCard. With direct deposit, you can get your paycheck or government payments up to 2 days faster.
I don't have time to wait for a paycheck, cash it, and then run around and pay bills. Brinks knows what's valuable to me. Time.
Call now or go online to get your Brinks Prepaid MasterCard. There's no cost to order and no credit check. Load money onto your card and then shop online, pay bills, buy groceries.
I get a text alert every time our card is used, so we always know our balance.
And we're protected from unauthorized transactions. Brinks gives us peace of mind.
With Brinks, you can conveniently manage your money online and with the mobile app.
I get cash back on everyday purchases. Brinks knows what's valuable to me, saving money.
Plus, you can load checks in minutes, anywhere with mobile check load. Call now or go online to get your Brinks Prepaid MasterCard. There's no credit check and no cost to order. And with a qualifying direct deposit, we'll upgrade you to Brinks Preferred with extra benefits. And in this TV-only offer, personalize your Brinks Prepaid MasterCard with your photo for added security. Manage your money on the go, anywhere, and get the peace of mind you deserve. Brinks knows what's valuable to you. Call right now to order your Brinks Prepaid MasterCard.
Call 1-800-282-9643.
There's no cost to order. Call now.
ABC7 First Alert Weather Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
A gorgeous time lapse from Lakewood Ranch webcam, looking out again at the beautiful blue skies this afternoon. We had a little cloudiness around midday, and that has since moved on. Drier air has slipped in and making for a splendid evening. And we're looking at a nice Thursday, too, ahead. The weather headlines for a cold front on Friday. A cold front arrives. There's not much to the cold, but there is a front, and it will bring some changes. And then we have a warm-up next week. Temperatures will be back above average, and could see some upper 80s by midweek. Now, the wind and fog forecast, just want to share this graphic, is depicting some patchy fog well inland. We're not expecting anything along the coastline at all. Skies will be clear there for the most part, just a few clouds around, but look out for that inland fog just a little bit. And the forecast looks like this tomorrow. We'll take you through time. Starting off pretty nice. You'll notice a little bit of a chill in the atmosphere, low 60s, which isn't bad. I know during the summer months we get down to this temperature for low temperatures. That's about it. So enjoy it while it lasts. 76 by, again, 3 o'clock, and maybe a little bit warmer inland. Well, here comes the next weather changer. It's a frontal system now moving through parts of Arkansas into Texas, and then that will shift off to the lower Mississippi Valley on in through Thursday and Friday, eventually bringing a cold front our way, and Alan's favorite chaff moving through again, South Florida, down through the Straits of Florida. There's some military exercises going on there. They use that chaff to actually disguise themselves in the radar. Kind of is confused. They can't see it. 74 degrees, our current temperature right now. The humidity at 59%. Winds out of the west-northwest at 12. And a beautiful sunset last night. A lot of photos coming in for tonight from pics at mysuncoast.com. 79 the high, just a couple degrees below average, and 94 the record, though, set back in 1999. The European forecast model showing a nice day on Thursday. Here comes the front, not much to it at all. A few spotty showers expected. You can see just a little light green there. We're not anticipating anything too significant on Friday afternoon, Friday night, and then Saturday maybe a little bit of cloudiness in the morning, but should be okay. For boaters tomorrow, perfect out there. A light chop. Seas running 2 feet and winds out of the northwest at 10. Well, here's your 7-day. 79 for a high on Thursday, a few degrees below average. We stay that way for the most part right through Sunday. A slight chance for showers comes Friday afternoon, evening. Not a lot of rainfall. Even into Saturday morning, we'll see some cloudiness. And then here comes the warm-up by early next week. Alan will be back right after this. Stick around.
You want a Maserati, but you need an SUV. Why not have both? Levante, the Maserati of SUVs.
Experience it today at Sunset Maserati, Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
When you are home alone, an emergency can become a tragedy. However, with any of Life Alert's 3 emergency systems, help can be summoned immediately, whether in the bathroom,
I've fallen in the shower.
at home,
Help! I've fallen and I can't get up.
and on the go.
Help! I've fallen in the park and I can't get up.
Don't worry, help is on the way.
Life Alert saves a life every 11 minutes.
For a free Life Alert brochure, call 1-800-518-0221. That's 1-800-518-0221. Call now, 1-800-518-0221. For a free brochure, call 1-800-518-0221.
I'll be right back.
To be able to just get my son here and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
Welcome back. We are talking about the discord and division at the Manatee County School Board, and now it's time to hear from the chairman himself, Scott Hopes. Scott, you were appointed to this position by the governor, right?
Yes.
Have you called him back and just said, you know, what the heck were you thinking?
No, I didn't actually do that, but when I was with the governor a couple of weeks ago, he asked me if I was still having fun on the school board of Manatee County, and I said, I am. It may not have been as much fun as it originally was.
You didn't know that the police would be coming involved.
No.
You know, help us, you know, get a better sense in terms of what happened to, you know, make the atmosphere the way it is right now and where it is at this point. Did it begin with that school board meeting a while back, which ended in the parking lot, and the issue involving Dave Minor maybe getting a little bit too close to you? And all? What precipitated that?
I don't think it began at that point. I think it probably began earlier on in the process when names were being floated for the appointment originally. I think the community had their own candidates, so to speak, and not many people knew that I had moved to Manatee County and was then approached to consider it. If you recall, my very first board meeting was when the board was taking up the issue of the special taxing referendum. And you may recall that in that board meeting, Mr. Minor and I were sitting right next to each other, and the press had already sort of put out there that I potentially could be the factor that challenged or put an end to the special tax referendum. And so I think it started at that meeting because we did not approve moving forward with the referendum at that meeting.
What you're saying is almost like what so many people liked about President Trump in terms of him being an outsider, not just a typical politician. And at some point, you know, we were tired of everything that's coming out of Washington, time for something different. But just like the president, you are an outsider, you came in there,
Sure.
and there are people who are upset that you were there, and in your opinion, not cooperative?
I don't know if it wasn't cooperative. I think we needed to get to know each other. I mean, keep in mind, the press had pretty much defined me before the governor had appointed me. And so I think there was some uncertainty about positions I would take. But I will tell you that the governor asked me when he and I met one-on-one before the appointment, you know, what was I going to do differently from when he appointed me to the USF Board of Trustees? Because it was similar. They saw me as an outsider, a governor's appointment, you know, presumptive, you know, individual to come in and sort of shake things up. And I told the governor, I said, you know, I'm going to build a relationship with my fellow board members. And so when Mike Barber, the communications director, said, you're a doctor, aren't you? And I said, yes. And he said, well, what should we call you? I said, what do you call the other board members? Well, Mr. I said, then call me Mr. And so I tried to stay on an even platform.
Well, but in terms of your relationship with other board members, it has been, let's say, interesting. Now, I realize that after the incident involving the car, the police began investigating it, but you told them to hold off on that, and that you and board member Dave Minor decided together to try to move beyond it.
It was my preference that he and I actually call a public meeting through the attorney and kind of talk through it. That didn't happen early on. It wasn't until probably a month ago that in a public meeting we actually were able to finally talk through the issue.
But then you have another board member, Charlie Kennedy, trying to re-vote who is chair and vice
Right.
chair. Why do you think that happened?
You know, it's caused a lot of introspection. I think, you know, first and foremost, they may have reluctantly elected me chairman in the desire to get the referendum passed. You know, I think that was at the forefront. We made it through the referendum. If you recall, Mr. Minor actually 2 weeks after I was elected chair made a motion to basically remove me as chair. Just 2 weeks after I was elected unanimously. And that sort of quieted down for a while because it wasn't seconded. And then we went into the referendum, and in full force and campaigning, and I actively campaigned. I went to the business community and shared with them my perspective of why I think we needed the optional operating revenue. And the referendum passed, but prior to that we had the incident where Mr. Minor was rather upset about the way I handled an issue in the board meeting, and I just think there were a lot of tensions. Look,
right, but it wasn't Dave Minor who was pushing the revote on the chair and vice chair this time around. It was Charlie Kennedy, and I guess I want to take you back and ask you about it. It must have been uncomfortable, and I hope you could explain this, where the council for the school board or the school district is saying the revote would have been legal. It is called for, in the rules, but it never did happen.
Well, but it wasn't called for in the rules. That was the primary issue. Both the bylaws and the rules that are incorporated into the school district's bylaws only provide for the election of the chair and the vice chair, and their term is for 1 year and until a successor is elected.
All right, we only have less than 2 minutes left, and I want to get to a couple things. Number one, where does that stand? And number two, a lot of people who are watching this right now, and they really don't give a hoot about whether or not school board members get along personally. They want to make sure that their kids are safe. There is uncertainty about how the SROs will be funded. You have a lot of things on your plate, and so do the other school board members. Can you get along to the degree that these things get done?
I think we finally have arrived at that point. We had a very successful workshop yesterday, and our board meeting was unremarkable with regards to what we've been dealing with in the past, and I think we have come together, and I think we demonstrated that last night.
If there's one thing that you could say to Charlie Kennedy, who's also going to be on our show tonight, what would that be?
We're partners. We are partners to do the people's work, and he and I are going to be meeting, and so we can talk through the concerns that he has, and we'll move forward together. First and foremost, we're here to do the people's work. Our core is educating the children of Manatee County so that they can be successful adults, and that's what our focus needs to be.
All right, Scott Hopes, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll have to take a quick break, and we'll be back for final thoughts in a moment. Stay with us.
Did you know you could get life insurance for less than 32 cents a day? With guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage, you can get up to $25,000 in protection with a single phone call, and you cannot be turned down for any reason. Even if you have health problems or are living on a fixed income, guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance policies could work for you with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. TruStage can help free your family from immediate financial stress when you're gone.
Utility bills, mortgages, car payments, those are a lot of things that can add up pretty fast.
My mom didn't have life insurance and the cost all fell on me. And that's expensive. We're still paying for that.
Yeah, we're still paying for that.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now. In one phone call, you can help prepare your family with protection amounts up to $25,000. There are no medical tests or health questions. And remember, you cannot be turned down for any reason. In fact, TruStage policies are already protecting over 18 million Americans. And rates are designed to be affordable, starting at less than 32 cents a day. That's as low as $9.40 a month. Plus, your price will never increase and your benefit will never decrease.
When I leave, everything will be taken care of for them.
Call 1-800-218-4991 now for a free, no-obligation quote. TruStage offers plans to fit your budget with prices starting at less than 32 cents a day. Help protect your family from immediate financial burdens after you're gone with guaranteed acceptance whole life insurance through TruStage. Call 1-800-218-4991 now.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com, your guide to the foodie lifestyle. ABC7's own Chef Judy serves up her favorite recipes, cooking tips and trends, dining blog, step-by-step videos, and Suncoast Restaurant Guide. You'll find it all at mysuncoast.com/dining.
And our guests join us right now for final thoughts. So, Charlie, you heard what Board Chair Scott Hopes had to say. First question, is the effort to get a new vote on a chair and vice chair, is that over? Are you past it? Or is this an issue that still has to be talked about?
No, I think, I mean, I'm past it in a way, but I think we still need to kind of communicate fully and effectively and let each other know where we were coming from and why we, at least I'll speak for myself, why I brought forward the effort that I did. He's right, we did have a very unremarkable meeting last night, but I did ask him if he and I could meet in the sunshine, open to the public, but outside of the regular scheduled board meetings, so we don't take up staff time with this. So he and I can talk and try to mend our fences. With the school district, as you mentioned, we just have too much going on. We have a superintendent search, we have school security and paying for SROs that we have to deal with. And I want to focus on what the general public and our teachers and parents care about, not kind of the inner conflicts of board members.
Ryan, does it appear to you that this is more of personality conflicts rather than issues or policy disagreements?
I think it's both, because I think a lot of it stems from a disagreement over policy. Because when Hopes came on the board, he was opposed to the referendum. He's a Rick Scott appointee.
But he said he worked for it.
He did in a very careful way where he would publicly state support, but at the same time kind of signal to supporters that, hey, this actually really isn't maybe the best idea. So it was a very fascinating watching him do that, because he didn't come right out and say, no, don't vote for the referendum. He would say vote for the referendum, but then he would also provide a lot of arguments as to why the district, how they hadn't managed their money well in the past, or perhaps there was money in the budget to meet those needs. So it wasn't unequivocal.
We heard what Charlie just said in terms of the issue about re-voting for the board chair and vice chair, and Dave Miner didn't want to talk about his conflict with Mr. Hopes, but is it your impression that they are also past this, or is there underlying strains that continue?
I think there's probably underlying strains. I think people go home and talk to their spouses and their wives, and calm down hopefully and realize, like, okay, I might not like this guy, but I got to work with him, and hopefully that's what we'll see.
And Charlie, as we've been talking about, there's some big ticket issues that are on the table right now that really have to be determined, especially in terms of the funding for school resource officers, especially after Parkland, and especially after the predicament that all school boards have been put into because the state is requiring them but not offering enough money to actually do it.
Right. Which, to Ryan's point, I agree that there will always be some underlying conflict there because we do come from different ideological positions. And I've been a very outspoken critic of the governor's education policy, the policy we've seen come out of Tallahassee, especially the last 2 years, which is, in my opinion, anti-public education. And I don't think it's hard to make that argument. But we are a board, and we are supposed to have disagreements, and we will have disagreements, but the majority voice of the board will carry. And that was kind of part of the basis of my argument for the revote of the chair and vice chair is we are 5 individuals, but we speak as one. The majority is our voice, so that was how I kind of brought that question forward. But I'd like to kind of take a different tack now, and hopefully Dr. Hopes and I can talk and sort this out so we can get on with the business of Manatee County Schools.
Because after all, there's an election coming up in November, and then you're going to have to, after that, vote for a new chair anyway. So right. Is it just basically, not a waste of time to actually keep dealing with the issue of the board chair now when there's so much that needs to be done?
Yeah, it can be, there's not only so much that needs to be done, but we now, our superintendent is a finalist in Duval County. So that adds a wrinkle. Dr. Hopes now has a political opponent for this fall. So I don't want this, I wanted this to be a board issue. I did not want this to be a political issue. So that kind of complicates things, and I want to simplify things, not complicate them.
And Ryan, I wanted to ask you about that. So now the chair, Scott Hopes, has an opponent who is going to be challenging him in the fall here. Given the publicity that has come out of the last few months, how are you sizing up that race?
I mean, Hopes has very strong supporters, people who love what he's doing, people who say this is what the school district needs. They need someone who's going to come in there and is going to ask tough questions and not take no for an answer and call people to the carpet. And that's what he's done at a lot of board meetings. And so his opponent is very well liked in the community. He's a former educator, you know, has a lot of deep roots in Manatee, but I don't know if just the optics of this might look bad, but I don't know if it's necessarily turned a lot of people off necessarily, because a lot of the running narrative in Manatee is that, unfortunately, and I don't think fairly, is that the school district is incompetent. And that's kind of just something that people think, and there's history there, and there's reasons people think that. So I think someone like Hopes comes in, and you know, a lot of people like it.
All right, we will have to leave it right there. But before we go, we want to share with you what some of you had to say about last night's show on the stock market roller coaster over the past year. Since the beginning of the Trump presidency, the stock market has had both good days and bad days. When the stock market is on the rise, President Trump loves to take credit, but when the stock market is tanking, not so much. We went to Facebook to hear your thoughts, and Court says, I know my accounts are way up since he has taken office, and my clients are done equally as well, if not better. But Glenwood says he doesn't mind taking credit for anything positive, regardless if he wasn't involved, so he should also take the blame. And Mary says it is a roller coaster, just like him. Well, if you'd like to join the conversation on tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. We want to thank all our guests for being here tonight. Manatee School Board Chair Scott Hopes, School Board Member Charlie Kennedy, and Ryan McKinnon, who covers the school board for the Herald Tribune. When we return, we'll have a look at your first alert weather, plus who has the nickname the Candy Man at the White House. We'll tell you after the break.
Experience the Classical Music Celebration May 11th and 12th at the historic Sarasota Opera House. World-class musicians include guitar duo Charisma, currently touring with Andrea Bocelli. Tickets available online or by phone.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash.
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
What could be treasure?
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
We are problem solvers striving for answers. Relevancy on every platform. We are driven to create content that's compelling, engaging, where it matters. We are neighbors that care about solutions, believers in making a difference, leaders, innovating in an exciting era of multimedia, reaching to always be the gold standard in our evolving landscape. We are Raycom Media. Find your opportunity today.
Here's today's job of the day. ABC7 is seeking a photojournalist with experience in news gathering, ENG cameras, and ETIAS. Visit mysuncoast.com/job-of-the-day to apply. Now your ABC7 First Alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Well, on the beaches, looking beautiful out there. Look at the blue skies, blue water, light winds out there. The waves not all that big. A perfect beach day. Casey Key webcam showing that. And it looks like we'll have another one tomorrow. So no worries if you missed today's. We're going to see a beautiful day tomorrow. If you have a chance to get outdoors and enjoy it, you should. Here's the frontal boundary. What we have is this high pressure ridge now that is built in behind the front that moved through earlier this week. Well, this high is going to get bumped off and carried out into the Atlantic, it looks like, where it will weaken. And then we're going to see mild conditions throughout the day tomorrow, but then things will change a little bit as we see that front move on in. Current conditions, 74, and lots of sunshine out there. Beautiful winds out of the west-northwest at 12. The pressure holding steady now at standard pressure, it's known as 29.92 inches of mercury, or 3013 on the barometer. Again, today's high temperature, 79, a few degrees below average. It was nice. Here's our normal low, 63. We'll be there near that number or slightly below it tomorrow morning to start things off, so that should be nice as we move through time. Tomorrow we'll warm up into the mid-70s. Futurecast, the European forecast model showing that front making its way through, but the area of low pressure sneaks off to the northeast, leaving behind this weak front that will bring us some clouds increasing on Friday afternoon, midday, late in the afternoon and evening. A chance for a few showers there. And then high pressure will quickly build in behind this front, I think, for the weekend, at least the most of it. This particular model depicting some high clouds. Notice how they race away really quickly. That's that high pressure. There's a backdoor cold front coming in on Monday, but that's along the East Coast mainly. The European model depicting that anyway, and we'll see how that plays out. Well, speaking of the European forecast model, get a look at this long-range forecast. We're taking you through time. These are ISO lines, isobars really, lines of equal pressure. And we noticed a little bend right there as a trough of low pressure starting to develop, and some models depicting we may see a little tropical low pop up north of Puerto Rico. This is a similar area which we had a storm Arlene develop last year in mid-April. So it does happen occasionally. We get a storm popping up, but I don't think we have to worry about it here. And it's so far off, there's no real threat to any land and really no threat to anyone at this point because it's not happened and probably won't. Well, the satellite and radar imagery is showing a lot of rain over the northeast today. Kind of a nasty day there into Missouri and Kansas City and also down into Arkansas. Some rough weather there. Showers are possible again late Friday. Nothing tomorrow though. Looks good. Light chop on the bays and in the waters. The extended forecast then. Nice day Thursday. Clouds on the increase by midday and a slight chance for a few showers Friday night, Saturday morning. Notice the nice warm temperatures though. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, mid-80s, even some upper 80s, well inland. Alan will be back right after this. Stick around.
Set your course for a waterfront lifestyle on Florida's last private island. Discover one particular harbor by Margaritaville. Nearby sugar sand beaches are as easy to find as the warm Florida sunshine. Waterfront residences from the high 400s overlook beautiful Anna Maria Sound. And a new marina with direct access to the Gulf of Mexico. Plus, incredible savings on move-in ready homes. Come tour designer models today. Visit ophmintousa.com now.
So, how many of us feel completely confident about our financial future? Let's hear some specifics. Yes, go ahead.
I don't want to be a burden to my kids. When my husband died, it took almost all of our savings to give him a proper funeral. I honestly don't know if there's enough to bury me, let alone cover expenses should something happen.
Okay. Let's talk solutions. One thing you may want to get in place is a guaranteed whole life insurance policy from United of Omaha Life Insurance Company, which is a Mutual of Omaha company. This is affordable coverage, which provides a cash payment, which can cover funeral expenses, bills, and other financial needs. Most payments are on their way within 24 hours. Yes, sir.
I need medical exams, things like that.
No medical exams. If you're between the ages of 45 and 85, you can call this number or you can go online and apply for coverage up to $25,000. United of Omaha Guaranteed Whole Life Insurance. Call or go online now.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
Imagine a world filled with pillow fights, playgrounds, and the search for the perfect climbing tree. Every kid deserves that world, but 1 in 5 kids in America struggle with hunger. At No Kid Hungry, we're committed to creating a world where every kid eats healthy food every day. We raise funds, we help families, and we lift up communities.
Checking primetime headlines, President Trump met with Dr. Ronnie Jackson in the Oval Office yesterday, and the White House says the president is fully behind the nomination of his pick for Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Reports are Jackson has earned the nickname the Candyman since he allegedly hands out medication to members of the White House staff frequently. ABC's Lana Zach reports from the White House.
The White House today says that these new allegations against Dr. Ronnie Jackson took them by surprise, noting that he had served in 3 separate administrations and passed background checks. But the White House wouldn't explain exactly what vetting, if any, was done with him prior to accepting the nomination to become the VA secretary.
Certainly, he's a very highly qualified, highly respected person in the military and in the medical community, and that's something that we strongly feel that veterans need and the VA needs.
The White House is offering a full-throated defense of Dr. Ronnie Jackson.
We think that Dr. Jackson is a great American patriot, and as Admiral, he deserves that opportunity.
But President Trump, who has been known to tweet his feelings, has not tweeted a word in defense of Jackson. Notable after the president said yesterday that if he were Jackson.
But the fact is, I wouldn't do it.
Veterans Affairs is an agency with nearly 400,000 employees and a $186 billion budget. Even before these new allegations, Dr. Jackson faced some real questions about his ability to manage such a large, important organization. The White House is asking the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee to reschedule Dr. Jackson's hearing, but at least 2 Republican members tell ABC News that they need answers before they will reschedule. Lana Zach, ABC News, the White House.
And that's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us and have a good night.